The official INDYCAR app, powered by NTT Data, puts the pulse-pounding action of INDYCAR right at your fingertips. Never miss a lap with the latest news, highlights, and live race coverage. Track every move with real-time leaderboards, interactive maps, onboard cameras, and driver radio. Your all-access pass to every race, every moment, every day. Download the official INDYCAR app now.
Welcome folks to Laguna Seca, a little later than expected, but congratulations to the Lionesses. This is the NTT INDYCAR Series Java House Grand Prix of Monterey, live on Fox. Let's take a look at the Java House Grand Prix of Monterey starting grid.
Devlin DeFrancesco, Toronto, Ontario.
Stingray Rob, Hayat, Idaho.
Robert Schwartzman, born in Israel, Tel Aviv.
I'm Callum Milo, I'm from Cambridge in the UK.
Connor Daly from Noblesville, Indiana.
Alexander Rossi, Nevada City, California.
I'm Jacob Abel from Louisville, Kentucky.
Santino Ferrucci, Woodbury, Connecticut.
I'm Scott Dixon, driver of the number 9 PNC Bank Honda from Auckland, New Zealand.
I'm Kyle Kirkwood from Jupiter, Florida.
Rinus VK, Hoofddorp, the Netherlands.
Nolan Siegel, Palo Alto, California.
Marcus Eriksson, Kumla, Sweden.
Hi, I'm Kevin Simpson from the Cayman Islands.
Scott McLaughlin, Christchurch, New Zealand.
Felix Rosenqvist, Värnamo, Sweden.
Christian Rasmussen, I'm from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Marcus Armstrong, Christchurch, New Zealand.
Louis Foster, Odium, England.
Graham Rahal, Columbus, Ohio.
I'm Christian Lundgaard from Vejle, Denmark.
I'm David Malukas, grown up in Chicago, Illinois.
Will Power, Toowoomba, Queensland, Australia.
Josef Newgarden, Nashville, Tennessee.
I'm Colton Herta from Valencia, California.
Pato Award, Monterey, Mexico.
Hello, I'm Alex Palou. I'm from Barcelona, Spain.
And now let's go trackside for the command here at Laguna Seca.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome your Grand Marshal, lead focus of the All-American Rejects, Tyson Ritter.
Y'all ready to rock and roll? Drivers, start your engines! Go get them!
Well, it is a glorious day here in Monterey, California. Welcome, folks, to our coverage live on Fox of a pivotal race in the championship, with our championship rivals starting from the front row of the grid. And Townsend Bell, James Hinchcliffe, this is Laguna Seca.
And this is the glorious central coast of California. The drivers fire down there into turn 2, heavy on the brakes, and then you have to be so precise. Turn in point, apex, track out. Millimeter perfect to get a good lap around here.
Then you start that climb uphill, turn 5. You're basically aiming for the sky. Turn 6, one of the trickiest corners on the racetrack, catches drivers out, practice qualifying in the race, and then of course the famous corkscrew.
Nowhere else in the world like this. Will Buxton had his first few laps around here the other day. It had your eyes open through the corkscrew.
More than my eyes.
Turn 9 and turn 10, two of the fastest corners on the track, and then you get to the slowest one, turn 11. You need a good exit.
Need a good exit, and we see some dive bomb moves in there. We've seen it go wrong. Thanks to Honda for the track preview.
Thanks to Honda, indeed. Honda have powered every winner that we have had at this track since we returned in 2019. 2 wins for Herta, 2 for Palou, 1 for Dixon, who will win today. Time to head down pit lane, and Georgia Henry.
While we talk about Alex Palou, let's talk about Pato Award. He trails Alex Palou in the championship fight by 100 points. He won at Iowa, he won again in Toronto, a place he'd struggled before. He told me execution is key today, not only on the track, but on pit lane. I talked to him again right before he strapped in. He said he's got to get Palou on the start. So anything that Palou does, you'll see Pato Award right behind him. Jack Harvey.
Well, going back to Alex Palou, this is actually one of his best circuits, which feels ridiculous to say, but his worst finish here in 4 races is 3rd, giving him an average of 1.75. They're chasing him on track, they're chasing him in the championship. He's starting on that soft tyre today. Kevin.
Jack Palou may be almost unbeatable, but this is the house of Herta. Dad Brian Herta won here 2 times in the late 90s, and Colton has won here 2 times and finished second here last year. And he's doing something a little bit different with strategy than those up front. He's the only one in the top 5 that's starting on the hard compound, so he's going to have the preferred faster softs, a new set later in the race.
Riding on board with Colton Herta. James, you just gesticulated.
It's an interesting strategy. Look, the top 3, it's all kind of very interesting for me. If I'm Pato O'Ward thinking the start's the best chance to get a run on Alex Palou, get that lead, why not start on the brand new softs? He's on used softs where Palou is on the new, should theoretically have that advantage on the start, and then you've got Colton going completely different, trying to roll the dice.
If you've been with us for the last few races, folks, you will know that the soft tire has been the tire that nobody wanted to run. They got rid of it at the earliest possible opportunity. Today, a complete reversal of that. The soft tire theoretically should be the quickest tire today. It's the tire that everybody wants to run for the longest period of time. It's the hard tire, the black sidewall tire that they don't want to run. As we take a look at the Honda Civic Type R 2025, which leads the field around, and Townsend, this is a track which always excites, and since the repave 2 years ago, drivers this weekend saying it's back to its raceable best.
Yeah, which means it's tricky. Easy to make a mistake at Laguna Seca on this surface, and if you make a mistake, there are 3 or 4 drivers ready to pounce right behind. Riding on board with Pato O'Ward's teammate Christian Lundgaard, but Pato O'Ward has to make the start of his season today. He has to get ahead of Alex Palou. Get aggressive. Don't be afraid to touch, rub, bump if you need to. Force your way to the front and try to control this thing. The championship is still possible for Pato O'Ward.
Look, he has to win races at this point if you're going to close that gap. He's got nothing to lose. He's got to go for that point. Palou, on the other hand, he's got to think a little bit about protection. He can finish second to Pato for all these remaining races and still win this thing, but it's really hard to tell a racing driver to back off and not fight to the death on this.
Alex Palou hoping to bring back some honor for Spain after they were beaten on penalties by England in the soccer just moments ago. I had to get that one in. And here is how the championship stands heading into this race. Alex Palou has led since St. Pete, but a brilliant charge from Pato O'Ward in this part of the season has seen him close the gap. 30-point swing at the last race. If he can do that this weekend and next weekend, the championship fight remains on.
So what happened right there, that 1-point bump, that's for the pole position that Alex Palou secured yesterday, a critical single point.
But you just see the ebbs and flows of the season, and it really does seem like when one of the competitors, in this case Pato O'Ward, gets some points on Palou in a race, it's quite a few points. He's not getting back 4 or 5 points. When Pato has a good day, it seems like Alex has a very bad day.
Keep your eyes on a number of the storylines today. You have your championship rivals on the front row of the grid. On row 3, Will Power and David Malukas. All the chat in the paddock is that they are fighting over the same seat potentially next season at Penske. Out of position are drivers like Marcus Armstrong, like Felix Rosenquist, down in 10th and 12th. Scott McLaughlin starts 13th and is feeling rapid. Spoke to him this morning. Carl Kirkwood down in 18th is out of position. And you can never discount Scott Dixon, 19th on the grid. Will he go for an alternate strategy, a long strategy, and try something different today?
Now the start at the Laguna Seca Raceway is always capable of going side by side through turns 2 and 3. But if you're on the outside in turn 2, which is where Pato O'Ward could place himself, it's so risky because Palou, it's quite easy to run Pato O'Ward out of room at the exit. How aggressive is Palou going to defend here? You know O'Ward's going to be aggressive on the start.
And the way the track is, it's grippy around the outside of 2. It's slippery on the inside. How will things shake out as our championship leaders, Alex Palou and Pato O'Ward, bring this field around? They will come through the final corner. Alex Palou, for the 5th time this year, will lead away from pole. They're all lined up now, 2 by 2, and under glorious sunshine here at one of the most incredible circuits, not just on our calendar, but anywhere in the world. We are green, we are racing here at Laguna Seca on the run down to turn 2, and look at the lead that Alex Palou has already, and Colton Herta makes the move on Pato O'Ward, and Herta trying to make his way up to second position and had second position already from Pato O'Ward, which is precisely the opposite of what the McLaren man needed. And someone's off at the back. It's a Prema. One of the Premas is off into the gravel. So too Connor Daly for Juncos Hollinger Racing, will get back round, will get back out on the track. That's Robert Schwartzman in the other Prema. But Alex Palou with the lead over Colton Herta. Pato O'Ward, then Josef Newgarden is fourth, and Christian Lundgaard already on the rear wing. Oh, and it's a big one for Kevin Simpson. And out goes Felix Rosenqvist as well.
That's turn 6, the trickiest corner on the racetrack. The narrow entry there leaves very little room for two cars side by side.
Big hit there for Kevin Simpson on the concrete before he even got to the wall there. That young driver coming off his career best finish for the podium in Toronto last week. Rosenqvist here in that Grateful Dead livery.
What a shame for both. Rosenqvist, who looked so fast all the way through this weekend. Did he get a nudge from Scott McLaughlin on the way in there? Kevin Simpson would like to get another angle of that.
But then how did Rosenqvist spin? That was strange. Oh, he got in. Kevin Simpson got in the back of Rosenqvist. It looked like side-by-side contact.
On board with Felix Rosenqvist.
Oh, yeah, you could hear it. Big impact from behind, sends Rosenqvist into the wall and out of the race, it looks like. Tough break for both these guys. Rosenqvist starting further back than he really thought he could have. Thought he had a shot at a front row car before a penalty in qualifying relegated him to 12th.
Inarguably did have the pace for the front row, but it's day over, or is it, as they try to get him back out again? Definitely day over though for Kevin Simpson, and I think there was contact there with Scott McLaughlin. Well, a beautiful livery, sadly, in the wall on lap 1, the Grateful Deads. On the number 60 of Felix Rosenqvist, who is on pit lane at the moment, getting some repairs done to his car, changing onto the soft tyre. It's a cracking livery, you can't miss it, but sadly, already finds himself 1 lap down, about to go 2 laps down. Felix Rosenqvist, but he's back out and on track. Good to see. While we were at break, a couple of drivers came in, made their stops. Connor Daly, who had contact on lap 1. Robert Schwartzman, who had contact on lap 1. And Stingray Rob Daly, the only one that I could see who changed from the hard to the soft. Here's the replay then of what went down. Daly just moves over into the path of Schwartzman. There's the slightest of touches between the two, which sends Schwartzman off and Daly spinning.
Yeah, I think Daly was probably looking more to his right. I think was that maybe Rossi on the inside, trying to keep an eye here. You know, that's Rossi there. And as he's fading over driver's left, doesn't realize Schwartzman is kind of in his blind spot. Bit of a racing incident.
Yeah, I mean, tough to blame either one. I don't think, as you say, Daly knew that he was there. As we take another look at the issue with Felix Rosenqvist and Kiffin Simpson there. And certainly from the onboard sounded pretty definitively like Simpson just barreled into the back of Rosenqvist here.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like McLaughlin gets close to Simpson, but there's no puff as we would normally see from a tire hitting or from a wing or anything like that. So maybe I was somewhat harsh on Scott McLaughlin there. We are under caution, 495. Those the remnants of Kiffin Simpson's car being brought back to pit lane. And so often we get a caution here in the early laps. It's Alex Palou, though, the championship leader, who leads from fellow two-time winner Colton Herta. Pato O'Ward said he needed to get past Alex Palou in the early laps. He has dropped a place to third. Big mover at the start. Christian Lundgaard made up a few places. Sorry, no, he stays where he is in P7. Rahal 8th, Foster 9th, Rasmussen is 10th and up 1 place. VK with 4 places up, Dixon up 3, Ferrucci up 3.
How about Colton Herta on those hard tires? Not as much grip, especially on the on the starts when you're still, not up to full temperature, full pressure. Great move from him.
Check out this the start replay from the helicopter. Look at the 2 Hondas of Palou and Colton Herta get after it and just out-drag Pato O'Ward, especially Colton Herta. I mean, Palou had a great jump, but look at the way Herta pulls uphill. Push to pass not available on the starts or restarts for the first lap. So really good pull up the hill, and Pato O'Ward really no option except to drop in line and avoid any contact there.
So we sit on board with Colton Herta, 2 times a winner here. I'm wondering what strategy Andretti might be thinking of employing today. Georgia, do you have any idea what they're thinking?
I have a little bit of an idea on why they all just started on the hard tires. First and foremost, Ericsson and Kirkwood starting in the back, so they have that extra set of reds. But Colton Herta, they basically said they wanted to do the opposite of what Alex Palou did, so that's what they did. We are going green, guys.
We are indeed. Palou tempers the pace, brings the field down through the corkscrew, and on the run down the hill, will be up to him when he jumps. And he will try to get the jump and control this thing from the front of the field. Pato's job is simple: win this race and keep the championship going. Palou's job just as seemingly simple: win at all costs. Through the final corner, we are green, we are racing. Bouncing over the curbs goes Colton Herta. Pato O'Ward follows him with Josef Newgarden, Will Power, David Malukas, Lundgaard, Rahal, Foster and Rasmussen, the top 10 running down to 2. Malukas having a look at the back of Will Power.
Palou got wide. Alex Palou blew the brake zone there, allowed Colton Herta to draw closer. Palou almost going off the racetrack. It's so dirty out wide there. That was really close stuff for Palou.
Well, that's just it. I mean, you're seeing it on your camera right now. There's no grass off the racetrack here. It is all dust. It is all dirt. And so that often finds its way onto the racetrack. And so anything off the racing line usually has a little bit of the remnants from a gust of wind that'll blow some of this dust onto the track. So Palou, big risk there, throwing himself that wide that early.
In terms of tire life, the hards should last around as long as the softs. The difference between the two, the soft is so much faster, and that is why O'Ward has to find a way through Herta at his earliest possible opportunity to stop Alex Palou from running away and hiding in the lead of this race.
The difference is supposed to come around lap 15 to 20 in that range, where the soft tire actually starts to be slower than the harder black tire. So Colton Herta, the job is be patient. We see the driver's eye view thanks to Arrow here for Pato O'Ward. He's on that soft tire. It's a used soft tire, but he would love to make a move here early while he has an advantage.
Christian Lundgaard shaping up David Malukas in the back of our picture and trying to go around the outside of Malukas, but Malukas holds position and holds firm ahead for the time being. But Lundgaard, he said yesterday when he was on our Indy Next coverage that he'd be going on the charge, and he is on the charge, and he's up to 6th place on David Malukas as Rasmussen, always exciting, gets his rears out onto the gravel, and now Graham Rahal tries to go round the outside of Malukas on the run back up the hill, and Malukas says not right now as Rasmussen now takes advantage and takes the position from Graham Rahal. Rasmussen always so incredibly exciting. 2 wheels off a moment ago, 1 position made up a few moments later.
I'll tell you what, guys, turn 4 as we see Malukas there trying to get a move back done or defend
VK.
against.
VK.
Oh, sorry. Too many white and blue cars. But no, that move from Lundgaard into 4. 4 is not a brake zone. You barely lift going into turn 4. It's just a breathe of the throttle. So very aggressive, decisive move from Lundgaard to pull that off. And then that just really checked up Malukas and caused this whole situation here on board now with Graham Rahal. He's got those softs, going to try to go around the outside, but Malukas just shuts the door.
It leaves him enough room. There's a wide exit curve there, but now Graham Rahal's checked up, and there goes Christian Rasmussen.
And now
no hesitation out of this guy. If he sees even a tear in the covers, he is going in.
And Rasmussen now wants a piece of David Malukas ahead of him. Malukas, who's dropped down a couple of places since the restart. The man on the charge now is Rinus VeeKay, 5 places up from where he started in P17. A brilliant podium last time out for Rinus VeeKay, the young Dutchman on the streets of Toronto. Pushed an impressive season for Rinus VeeKay at Dale Coyne Racing. So many top 10s, so many impressive drives from the back of the field to the front, exemplified by that brilliant run to the podium in Canada just 1 week ago. But Alex Palou starting to stretch his legs at the front. 1.8, almost 2 seconds to the good now over Colton Herta as Rasmussen shapes up Malukas on the start-finish stretch through 1. Will have to go the long way around into 2. Rasmussen on Malukas, on the softer tire, should have the grip, should have the pace, now has the position.
That was brilliant. That was a really well-executed pass from Christian Rasmussen on the button, push to pass, extra 50 horsepower up the hill there, late on the brakes. He knew he had to be a little bit in front of David Malukas when they got to that second apex, so Malukas didn't just open his hands and push him off the road. Really, really brave, committed stuff from Rasmussen.
What a signing Rasmussen has been for the ECR team. Really coming into his own in this second half of the season, electrifying on ovals. So too are now on street circuits and on road courses. Rasmussen, I think, a clear favorite up here in the commentary booth. Never anything but enthralling. Never leaves anything on the table.
Looks very composed right now. That race car looks to be handling just right on those soft tires. The tail end of that race car for Christian Rasmussen oftentimes steps out. He's comfortable there, but right now he looks to be taking really good care of his Firestones. He's going to have a run on Christian Lundgaard here in another couple laps.
The 24-year-old from Copenhagen, Indy Next champion of a couple of years ago, won the championship at this circuit, loves this circuit, and boy doesn't it show. He's coming after Christian Lundgaard. Jacob Abel's day is done. The AMR IndyCar safety team on the scene. But the 24-year-old from Louisville, Kentucky, will go no further today. Disappointing for him, but it's down at turn 2 at the hairpin that he found his way into the barrier, and sadly for him, out of the race. Tricky, really tricky rookie season for him. And is that on his own? I didn't see anybody too far around him.
There's a ton of runoff down there, and it looked like he was pretty far right. You have to wonder, was there a brake issue on the 51?
I was just going to say that, because that's well off track, and he's still going. I mean, you can see the fronts kind of locking up as he's skipping.
It looks like stuck throttle, James. It was almost the rears were still spinning. Oh yeah,
something's gone.
I think he's got a stuck throttle.
And even if it's just a fraction, you know, you can just get the throttle pedal hung up a little bit, as we see a few cars now dive to pit lane. Malukas looks like Lundgaard, Scott Dixon,
and Rinus VK at the front.
Did I call VK Malukas again? Rookie day, sorry.
In comes Scott Dixon onto the softs for Scott Dixon. Also for Nolan Siegel, VK onto the hards. Connor Daly taking the opportunity to stop for a second time. Herter critically in.
No,
oh, that's not Herter. My apologies. That's Kirkwood again with the similar liveries. You have Herter and VK. I'll have Herter and Kirkwood. You have
guys. Let's take a look at this
VK.
replay of Jacob Abel again with the 51. Tires are turned, and I see all the gravel coming off the rear tire backwards. I think the throttle's still on. Let's take a look at this second angle here. Again, watch the rear tires here.
Yeah, they're spinning up fast.
I don't know if they're under power or not. At a minimum, it looks like maybe rear brakes not fully optimized there. You would expect to see them fully locked up when the fronts were locked up in the gravel. But either way, a very unfortunate and ill-timed incident there, whether it was mechanical or not. Tough day for Jacob Abel. Yeah. One of his better qualifying performances. He started 21st. He looked really comfortable.
So Alex Palou still leads the field. Siegel, VK, Dixon, Kirkwood, Daly, Eilon and Schwartzman all pitted that time around. We're hearing a rear brake issue for Jacob Abel is what saw him out. And a good spot. Great spot, Townsend. Great spot, James, on that. Right, Palou brings us back to green, then hits the hammer now on the run down to 11. The challenge for Pato O'Ward remains the same. Get past Herter, go after Palou. The challenge for Palou remains the same as ever it was. Gap the field and take this thing into his own hands.
All these laps under yellow are kind of playing into the hands of Colton Herta here, as it's shortening the laps that he's got to do on the hards, as McLaughlin trying to make moves around Foster on the outside. Same with Ericsson side by side there with Armstrong.
And Ferrucci trying to take advantage of that. Gets Ericsson, has a look at Armstrong. And here comes Alexander Rossi around the outside of them both. Talking to Santino Ferrucci, who had to sit out the last race in Toronto. His hand still not up to being 100%. Had to have some injections to try to take down the inflammation. He said he could barely turn the wheel yesterday in his car, so painful was his hand after that accident. And Malukas coming under pressure now from Graham Rahal. McLaughlin secures the move on Louis Foster.
Again, tough place to do it. Turn 6, not a huge brake zone, but just a great run up the hill out of 5 from McLaughlin. And now O'Ward back in the hunt of Colton Herta. But let's take a look at that exchange down into turn 3 on board the Java House machine of Rossi. You see Ericsson into the inside. Even on the hards, he rolls around the outside, but he drops 2 wheels, couldn't make it stick.
That's the risk of going outside, especially at Laguna. Really no banking to help you except in turn 9. It's so easy to get pushed off in the dirt.
Scotty Mack on a charge. Great exit from the final corner, taking a look at Graham Rahal, who sit on board with the driver of the number 3, trying to go around the outside where it is grippy, but Rahal isn't going to give him the space or the opportunity. But McLaughlin says, I'll take it from you anyway. Oh, will I? Trying to get through. And Rahal putting up a great defensive drive there in 9th place.
Guys, we're a lap and a half from the restart. Alex Palou just put 2 seconds on Colton Herta. Insane pace from Palou. Most successful driver at this track by far over the last 5 years.
loves this place. He seems to be able to unlock something extremely special, be it on this soft tire or what may even be his preferred hard tire. He's now almost 2.5 seconds to the good. It was 1.5 after 1 lap. After 2 laps, let's see where it is as he crosses the line. It is going to be about 2.5 seconds.
But again, that's the thing you want to keep in mind. Colton Herta is on those slower, hard tires, so it's not as surprising he's pulling out as much of a gap as he is. Ward sort of helpless. He can only do the pace of the car in front if he's not able to get around the 26. But guys, remember, at some point, he being Palou, he's got to put those hards on.
Well, and at some point, in theory, based on all the feedback we've had from the race teams, the soft tire is supposed to degrade and be slower than the hard black tire. So that's what Colton Herta and this guy, Pato O'Ward, will be hoping for. Well, Pato's on the same tire compound, so he'll hope that Herta gets faster relative to Palou and starts to open up a gap and suck him forward if he can.
That crossover point supposed to be about 15 laps, but that's 15 laps of green flag racing. Wrong lap 16, but we've done 6 of them under caution, so look for about 5 more laps to try to see Palou start to come back into the clutches of this guy here, Colton Herta.
Kevin Lee on pit lane. What's everyone thinking from a strategic perspective?
So let's talk about the strategy from a 3-stop perspective. Those that have already come in are most likely, especially those that came in after the first caution, are doing 4. But the window is open to be able to get home on 3. You can go with a fuel save 26 or 27 laps. About 23 or 24 is the full push. Josef Newgarden, by the way, almost came in, thought about it on the last stop, but that was a couple of laps short. You'd like to go a little bit longer in this first stint, but you'll pit when the tires start to fall off.
Well, folks, if you want to know just how good Alex Palou is around this circuit in the running that we've had so far today, his fastest lap, the fastest lap we've seen, is a 1:10.7. The second fastest lap we've seen today is from his championship rival Pato O'Ward. That, a 1:11.7. Exactly 1 second a lap faster, Alex Palou, right now than anybody else on track. And look at that, clean air, an entire camera lens full of nothing between Alex Palou and Colton Herta. Now almost 4 seconds the gap.
And clean air is king. And right now he's the only driver on the racetrack with it other than Colton Herta.
Now, yeah.
But again, Colton's on that harder tire, that slower Firestone tire. So it's not really a fair comparison. Also, Palou started on a brand new set of those softs. The drivers behind him, guys like O'Ward, guys like Newgarden, guys like Will Power, they're on a U set. So that's not going to be quite as fast either. So it does look dramatic now, but it's an ebb and flow kind of race. It's going to start shifting the other way potentially.
Every driver in the NTT INDYCAR Series has to run the black hard tire, the red soft tire during a race. And you know who's good to go and only has soft tires that he needs to run for the rest of the race, the preferred tire? Scott Dixon, 19th at the moment. He's got rid of the hard tires. He's on to the soft. Keep your eyes on the 6-time champ. Scott Dixon can make the impossible the possible. Driver's Eye Cam, sponsored by Firestone, has been a welcome addition this season. We've seen some incredible action from the driver's seat, behind the visor, allowing you into the driver's world like never before, as Fox brings you the NTT INDYCAR Series back on board with the Firestone Driver's Eye camera from Newgarden to O'Ward. This is what it looks like here in Laguna Seca. Palou leading now by almost 7 seconds from Colton Herta. O'Ward third, and this the battle between Rinus VK and Scott Dixon. Dixon on the soft tyre is good to go for the allocation. So too Rinus VK behind him, but it's Dixon on the soft tyre who has the advantage, and from the drivers who've already stopped, Dixon now leads that pack of those who have fulfilled running both tyre compounds in this race. You can never discount him, you can never overlook him, regardless of where he starts in the field. Scott Dixon somehow always a contender when it matters the most.
And Dixon should have 2 more sets of sticker softs to finish this race on, so he should be in really good shape, but you have to pass cars in order to get to the front. His best opportunity will be when the hard tire teams pit, like the guy in front of him just did. So now Dixon, push, 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 clean air. Here's Rinus VK, excuse me, David Malukas.
David Malukas on pit road, takes on the soft tire, gets rid of the hard. He's good to go. It'll be soft running for him for the rest of the day. Back on board with Scott McLaughlin. That now is Graham Rahal ahead of him. And the call comes in. Now is the time. 22 laps completed of 95. Looks like a pretty clear 3-stopper for most of the drivers out there. But the question and the worry for almost every driver out on track now is, this is the pace for Palou on softs. Palou's preferred tyre, because he can somehow extract something from it around this circuit that almost no one else seems able to do, is how fast will he be on the hard tyre. McLaughlin in. Soft tyres off. Will it be another set of softs? Will it be the hards? Rahal comes in as well. It's going to be a battle on pit lane between RLL and Penske, and we know how clinical Penske are in their stops. 100% Shell renewable fuel in, 4 fresh tyres on. Scott McLaughlin is serviced and sent. Rahal is now too. Both of them emerge on the soft tyre, so it's soft for Rahal.
And remember, these 2 drivers were battling with David Malukas, who already made his pit. Malukas just went under the bridge, and that is why McLaughlin is furiously trying to get to pit out along with Graham Rahal. Here comes Malukas on hot tires.
Malukas will have the pace advantage. Rahal has track position, so too does McLaughlin, who will defend with all his might to try to stop Malukas from coming through. Dave makes the move.
Nothing McLaughlin can do there on those colder tires. Only 1 corner out of the pits. Malukas got it done. But you do have to be a little bit conservative when you're pushed to pass here at Laguna Seca. Only 150 seconds of allocated push to pass. Unlike most tracks, we see that 200-second mark, as we see Pato O'Ward now has dived into pit lane from 3rd position. Georgia.
Pato O'Ward to pit lane and his crew. He told me earlier he didn't feel like they had the fastest cars, so these pit stops are going to be so important for them. Scuffed Reds are going to fill it up with Shell 100% renewable fuel, and he's down and away.
Ferrucci in as well, from the hards to the softs. How long can Palou hang on in the lead of this race? Where does O'Ward come out in relation to everyone else?
Palou still 0.8 of a lap, 0.8 of a second faster than Colton Herta right now. I see Colton's guys starting to get ready, as O'Ward down and away, trying to get heat as quickly as possible and not lose a spot on this outlap to Robert Schwartzman there in the red Prema car.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Colton Herta come in this lap to protect against that undercut move by O'Ward pitting a lap sooner. He's on those soft tires again, trying to get up to speed, so I'd be expecting Colton to come in. He started on the hards, throw the softs on, and really try to get his race going.
Palou stays out. Herta stays out.
He's on the button. You saw his thumb go down. You see those green lights illuminate. That's push to pass. You just heard him say he's going to undercut us.
Yeah.
So Colton wants the pit.
I agree with him.
100%. I'm surprised they didn't come in that lap.
I mean, we're lap 25. You're well in range to bail on that hard tire. Marcus Armstrong says, I'm done on the blacks.
Yeah, when it's not the preferred tire, why do an extra lap? Clear stop for the MSR crew with Marcus Armstrong.
See where Marcus Armstrong blends out here.
Oh, and VK. And VK was in a battle with Dixon and Kirkwood over what is 7th place.
Turn 3 again. We saw that catch out guys in practice. We saw Connor and Schwartzman go off there earlier.
And who does this hurt? Colton hurt him. Didn't get in.
Didn't pit.
If the yellow comes out, they might leave it open.
Palou's in just before pit lane closes, if indeed they are going to close it. Jack, call him in.
He's coming down pit lane. The advantage of starting on that new tyre gave the team the ability to see what they wanted. They're going to go with the hard tyre, and this is going to be a really, really important outlap here.
Hertz is in as well, Kevin.
Newgarden made the U-softs last very well, and he's going to another U set, so he's got a sticker set still to go, Georgia.
Herta takes the primaries off. They put a scuff set of reds on one turn of front wing. He's got open out.
Will Power on pit lane 2.
Coming now, you feed it to the
All right,
line.
let's see if the undercut worked for Pato Award.
There he comes, there he comes on the left of your screen. He'll be at the bottom as he rolls through too. Award with the advantage of the softer tyre, with the heat now into his tyres. Past the yellow zone and off and after Colton Herta on the cold rubber. Now or never for Pato O'Ward to make the undercut work. Yes, Colton Herta has the track position, but O'Ward has the faster car and the warmer rubber.
Yellow.
And now it's a caution, and all of that hard work, all of that risk, ultimately rewarding for Colton Herta. So, here is the incident, and it was Kirkwood and VK. Oh! We are back at the Java House Grand Prix of Monterey, live on Fox under caution. After Carl Kirkwood punted Rinus VK into the gravel, we have the onboard now with Kirkwood. Having a look up the inside of the Dutchman. It's a nice line through there. They run too wide, almost contact, a little bit of contact there. And then on the run down in, and just punts him straight off and into the gravel.
Kirkwood was committed here. He was going inside come hell or high water, and I don't think he expected VK to be as narrow as he was. So when he went for that slice, he thought VK was going to go and he was going to surprise Rinus VK. It just didn't work out for Kirkwood. He will probably get a drive through.
Nolan Siegel leads the field. He is on the same strategy as Dixon, Kirkwood, and Eilot behind. They have already made a stop. They were the first ones to stop, but Siegel, unlike the others, went soft-stopped. He still has to run the hard tire as he gets very sideways out of 11. Alex Palou in second place and hunting him down. That was the first lap led of Nolan Siegel's career. How long can he hang on, though, from the championship leader as Lundgaard tries to put the pass on his teammate Pato O'Ward, and O'Ward can ill afford to lose another position, but that's exactly what he will do to his teammate.
I think Alex Palou has a great run going to turn 5 as somebody dropped wheels there. Nolan Siegel getting some great experiences. This is his home track. Grew up in Palo Alto, California, just up the road. Family and friends are here this weekend. Huge moment for the young driver.
Kirkwood has been given a stop and go penalty. The man who currently sits in 4th place for that incident with Renus VK. We sit on board with the NTT data car, taking a look back at Alex Palou. That yellow and red car looming large in your mirrors is the one person you don't want back there.
And we finally get to see what kind of pace does Alex Palou have on the hard tire. Scott Dixon on board here thanks to PNC Bank. Looks like Alex Palou gets off turn 11 just fine on the harder tire, James.
Well, it's a brand new one as well. Dixon last pit on lap 12, so these are older, soft tires. They started life as a sticker set. It was a brand new set for Scott, so they should be holding on all right, but it's just showing that when you're not in clean air on the preferred tire, Palou's not completely unbeatable, as Rasmussen now trying to make it work on the outside, gets it done on the Prema of Robert Schwartzman.
Lovely move, great stuff. There is a theory here that those drivers who stopped early on lap 12 can make it with just 2 more stops. They'll need a couple of cautions in order to do so, but Siegel, Dixon and Eilert looking good.
Update, Colt, with a big fuel save. Some of these cars in front could make it on 2 more stops, just like us, but they need a big fuel save. You have a definite fuel advantage.
So it's good for the driver to get that running on board the Gamebridge Honda of Colton Herta. That's Rob Edwards telling him, look, these guys could do it in 2 more, but they need to save a lot of fuel. And look, track position's always nice, but for a guy like Colton, it's nice to know that the cars in front of you, they're already on the back foot, kind of riding defense. You can be aggressive and try to force the issue.
Critically, Siegel still has to run that hard tire, so he still has to run a stint on what theoretically is the slower rubber. Everybody behind him, Palou, Dixon, Eilert, Herta, they're good to go to the regulations as O'Ward shapes up. His teammate will not be impressed at all that Lundgaard put the move on him, but that is the wonderful thing about the IndyCar Series. It's every man for himself out there, regardless of whether you're fighting against your teammate, regardless of whether he's fighting for a title. So Kirkwood in, takes his stop, takes his tires. And as things shake out, there is your race leader. And I got to say, Nolan Siegel looking very comfortable at the head of this field with the championship leader sitting behind him.
Yeah, running pace of 112.1. Palou is doing laps at a minute 10.7 and low 111s on that soft tire. So Alex Palou totally happy right now as you see the points as they run to just sit and ride out this black tire stint and run it as long as possible, because Palou will have to run used reds next probably, or use reds all the way to the end. So he'll want to extend this black tire stint for as long as he can hang on.
But as we heard from Colton Herta's strategist, Rob Edwards, the guys that stopped on lap 12, Nolan Siegel, Scott Dixon, Callum Eilert, they've got to make a big fuel number, so you can't run flat out. So these 112.7s that Siegel's running, that is probably while hitting a big number.
So it's Siegel from Palou, Dixon from Eilert, Herta, Lundgaard, O'Ward, Newgarden, Rasmussen and Schwartzman, the top 10. 2 Premas in the top 10, but both Schwartzman and Eilert are going to need to fuel save. They pitted on that same lap.
Just listen to Nolan Siegel here in the lead. Coming through turn 10, full throttle here all the way to the brake zone for turn 11. Now he's going to climb the hill of the front straightaway, and we'll get an idea of just how aggressively he's trying to save fuel, if at all. Listen. little bit of a post phase, but not a massive one.
Not as big as I was expecting for what Edwards was saying on the radio to Colton.
Last lap there for Nolan Siegel, 112.8.
And Malukas puts the move on Robert Schwartzman up the inside and done and through, and now Armstrong wants a piece of it as well. Cut to the inside, takes the position, and that's a great move from Marcus Armstrong, taking advantage of Malukas popping through and just unsettling Schwartzman a little bit. And Ferrucci, he's going to want to get past now as well, and that is an easy move for Santino Ferrucci.
Schwartzman right now just falling like a stone once he got passed by one car, got offline, picked up some dirt, debris, some of the tire marbles, the spent rubber onto his tires. You lose some grip, and when the cars are all running this close together after a restart, it's amazing how you can blink and lose 3 or 4 positions. But look at the positions gained. The big movers on the day so far. Callum Ilott up 20 right now.
You know what? If Prema play it right, if they play their strategy right today, Ilott could potentially be looking at a podium. It's Siegel leading from Palou and Dixon here at Laguna Seca. Welcome back to Laguna Seca. Time to take a closer look at the Dallara cutaway car, Townsend.
This is pretty cool. We're going to talk about fuel this week as we remove the engine and half of the fuel cell here. You're going to get to take a look inside the fuel cell, specifically right here where the fuel probe is inserted. When the drivers make a pit stop on pit lane, the fueler will plug in, and you'll notice 18.5 gallons going in just 7 seconds. The reason that's possible is because of this vent manifold, which is exiting air from the fuel cell. As the fuel's being forced in, it creates a vacuum. It evacuates the air.
Townsend, I'm sorry, but Palou's going for the lead of Nolan Siegel, and he's got it with a wonderful move around the outside of turn 3. Beautiful stuff from the championship leader to take that lead away from Nolan Siegel. And it was only really a matter of time for Alex Palou, who had been cutting that lead in, cutting that gap back.
Smooth, man. Great job.
Instinctive and bold from the championship leader on the hard tire versus what is now a pretty worn, pretty old set of softs on that car of Nolan Siegel, the 20-year-old Californian who had driven so beautifully, really having a good season on road courses this year. Of course, started from the second row back in mid-Ohio. And look, he just goes to the outside, senses the grip is there, gets a brilliant run off the corner. And that's brave going around the outside.
Incredibly brave, super high risk for Alex Palou. If he drops a wheel, it is game over for Alex Palou, as Nolan Siegel says, I am done with the softs, Jack. Come to you.
Yeah, done with the soft and getting ready to put on these hard, brand new tires. Going to flow some Shell 100% renewable fuel. This is Nolan leading the race for the first time. It's also his home race. Got to be a special moment, no doubt, for him.
And Townsend, that's exactly what you were talking about with the Dallara cutaway car. The fuel flow heading in, all those 80.5 liters.
Yeah, 7 seconds. You think about how long it takes you at the pump. It's gallons. 18.5 gallons in just 7 seconds. And now Nolan Siegel onto those fresh, hard tires. But Alex Palou, James, finds himself in a familiar place. Clean air at the front, half a lap to the next, to the lap car in front of him. But I'm watching Scott Dixon, guys.
Me too.
This is one of those Dixie type days. Might not be a win based on his teammate's pace, but if he ends up on the podium, are you kidding me? Another brilliant job from the 9.
But he's got some big pressure from Colton Herta, who desperately needs to get around him to not let Alex Palou get too far ahead.
And as we look back, or as we were looking back, there's another orange car in the back of that shot who is catching these two at pace, and that is the McLaren of Christian Lundgaard, who made his way past Pato O'Ward, and there he is, right there in the papaya and black McLaren. He's got himself past Callum Ilott. He's catching these two up. He only pitted a couple of laps before the likes of Alex Palou and Pato O'Ward. He's made up a huge number of places compared to those who started ahead of him, as now Herta takes the place away from Scott Dixon.
Dixon's on those old tires, but he's hanging on. Scott knows he needs to get to a certain lap number, maybe lap 42, to be able to make it on just one more stop.
And guys, look at this. Colton Herta had to use an awful lot of his 150 seconds of push to pass in order to get around Scott Dixon, but that was crucial. So now let's see what kind of pace Colton Herta has in clean air compared to Palou up ahead, who's right now 5.8 seconds behind. And now Lundgaard.
Oh, is he going? He is up the inside of the corkscrew. Lundgaard, that's magnificent. I love that.
Pit.
Dixon called into pit lane, and Lundgaard with a bold move up the inside of the corkscrew.
That's going to put some pressure on Lundgaard's teammate, Pato O'Ward, as Scott Dixon dives in for his second stop. O'Ward's going to see that move and say, you know what, I need to get going here and stay with my teammate.
And I'll tell you what, on the primary strategy, Lundgaard is currently looking at a podium because it's Palou, Herta, and then Lundgaard. Jack.
Yeah, the 9 is getting ready to put some new soft tyres on, and in these moments where there's a split strategy, in and out laps, absolutely critical.
We ride on board with Pato O'Ward in your bottom screen. That's Callum Ilott ahead of us. Ilott with Prema in their first season in the NTT INDYCAR Series. And I remember a couple of seasons ago when he was driving for Bunkos Hollinger Racing. What a brilliant job Callum Ilott did around this circuit. It's a place that he loves, but the car looking squirrely underneath him. He's got the same age tyres as did Dixon, as did Siegel. How long can Ilott hang on? How long can he stay out with the car of Pato O'Ward drawing him in every lap?
Oh, look at Ilott, big slide through turn 9. He is desperately hanging on. Should be coming in any lap now.
And the level of urgency, yeah, the level of urgency for O'Ward was similar to that of Colton trying to get around Dixon. Now Pato's got that clean air. He can start to chase down his teammate as we see the 90 being waved into his pit box.
And we talk about teammates. Scott McLaughlin having a look at his teammate, Will Power ahead.
Oh, Pato O'Ward just made a big mistake, slid wide there at the first apex.
This needed to be a day of perfection for Pato O'Ward. It's not coming to him. And all at the same time as Alex Palou continues to lead with ease on the hard tyre, which should be slower, and yet it's 5 seconds to the good for Palou over Herta, and Lundgaard 2.5 seconds behind Colton is catching the Andretti driver. On board with Josef Newgarden, thanks to Astemo. Ahead of him is Pato O'Ward, but it's Palou from Herta, Lundgaard from O'Ward, Newgarden from Rasmussen, then Power, McLaughlin, Rahal and Malukas. That's your top 10 here at Laguna Seca.
To stop the seemingly unstoppable.
It's the Palou Show!
Catch him, if you can.
Let's go, boys! Alex does it again! Woo!
Alex Palou, he has won the Indianapolis 500! Well, it's turning into quite a season for Alex Palou. He already has 3 IndyCar championships, this being his 6th full season in IndyCar. Tom Brady had 3 after 6, Gretzky had 2, Woods had 2, Jimmy Johnson had 2 after 6. If Palou can win it this year, that 3 becomes a 4. That is just the level that he is at with the all-time greats, and that 4th championship would come before he's even turned his 100th start in the NTT INDYCAR Series and all at the age of just 28. As Chip Ganassi was telling us earlier this year, we are just starting to scratch the surface of how good he can be. Pato O'Ward is into his blocks. Georgia.
Pato O'Ward is going to put a set of the hard tires on that. There's a turn of the front wing, and they're going to fill it up. He's down and away a little bit earlier than Colton Herta, who should be coming in the next few laps.
So O'Ward once again trying to get the undercut, James. Didn't work out for him last time. That caution falling at just the wrong moment.
And it's going to be tough. You know, right now he's gone on to those hards. It's going to be a little bit harder to get up to speed. That outlap so critical. He's coming out in relatively clean air. If he can keep that Prema behind him, just try to chase down Dixon there, and then it'll be all eyes on Herta. What does he do? How does he respond? How does Lundgaard respond? How does Newgarden respond? All the top 5 now kind of on alert.
It's going to be soft to the end for everybody. Running lap 45 of 95 here in Monterey, California. Oh, and a wobble from O'Ward coming up the hill allows Eilert to have a look at him. And Eilert, who pitted just a few laps ago, has the temperature into those tires. And this is a genuine, legitimate battle for position in this race between Eilert on a slightly different strategy to that of Pato O'Ward.
And with Christian Lundgaard, Pato O'Ward's teammate, just making his next pit stop, the blend battle is going to be critical. That's why Pato O'Ward does not want to let Callum Eilert by.
Hanging it all out, all arms and elbows, trying to maintain that position. Eilert is pushing him, and Malukas is getting into the mix and wants to join the party as well. Has Pato done enough to hold on, or can Eilert find a way through?
There you see the orange car just out of frame. That's Christian Lundgaard, also on the hard compound, trying to perform an outlap as well. Pato not close enough to get a whiff of Lundgaard just yet, but Lundgaard will be slow on the outlap, just like Pato O'Ward was 1 lap ago.
So now this fight over 16th, 17th, and 18th, when everything shakes out, could be for a podium. Should definitely be for the top 10. And O'Ward will be frustrated. This was not the battle that he envisaged having today. Starting from the front row of the grid, his focus was fully on Alex Palou. Got passed at the start by Colton Herta. Didn't have an answer for him then. Tried the undercut, it didn't work. Tried the undercut again, and now he's under massive pressure from Callum Eilert on the run down to 11, and Eilert has a look up the inside, but thinks better of it.
It's a big moment through turn 10 there for O'Ward, all sideways, but Eilert not able to get a clean drive off of that last turn. If anything, Malukas is gaining on him a little bit now. You got 3 Chevy-powered cars from different teams, all trying to make this work. For Pato, it's so difficult. Trying to get up to speed, but also having to have one eye on your mirror looking behind you at all times.
But every lap it gets a little bit easier for Pato O'Ward. Why? Because Callum Eilert on that soft tire is running in dirty air, and as Callum is being more and more aggressive to get by, he's relying on that soft tire for the grip, and it eats into the tire life. So Pato O'Ward can start to breathe just a little bit as he climbs the hill to turn 6.
With these strategies kind of split like this has put a lot of the field at the front right now into that danger zone. If a caution were to come out, you could have an interesting situation where a lot of those lead cars would have to pit, and you'd have a guy like Lundgaard cycle his way up to the front. So everybody that's staying out, 1st through 9th.
Oh, and he's off on the gravel. O'Ward is really having a push with everything he's got. He's driving wild.
Just a big mistake, unnecessary mistake right there, but it's all about a race win or a podium for O'Ward, so he's just trying to do qualifying laps right now on the hard tire, and he's struggling.
It speaks to the pressure of the situation and of the drive today. And of the drive in particular of Callum Eilert behind him, how hard he is pushing him, how hard he is pressuring him into making those mistakes. Because it's lap after lap, that's 3 in a row.
Window is firmly open for Alex Palou to make his next stop and try to cover against that danger zone that James talked about. Here's the turn 9 error from Pato O'Ward. Oh, man.
That's a big error. That's keeping your foot in and keeping your foot in.
That barely worked out for Pato to get back to the racetrack.
By the skin of his teeth there, just picked up a big understeer, front tires just not gripping, hit that curve, the car sort of skipped across the curve and threw him into the dirt there. Lucky to hang on to it. So as this battle rages on, I'm keeping the My eyes to the lap times of the two leaders, Palou and Herta. We were sort of talking about the comparison between what times they could each run in that clean air. Colton has closed the gap down a little bit, but right now it's still within 1/10 of a second they're able to run. So Herta not enjoying the advantage on those softs that Palou had when the situation was reversed. So Palou still sitting very pretty right now, provided a caution doesn't come out at this moment.
Townsend's trademark danger zone.
Palou and Barry Wanzer never seem to be too worried about it. As you look at the history of Prema Racing, back-to-back top 10 finishes with Schwartzman, surprisingly a complete oval rookie this season, but he put it at pole in Indianapolis, had his best result at Iowa on the short oval there to date.
And then last time out in Toronto, this man Callum Ilott with an 8th place finish. It is starting to make sense for Prema. This is a team with 40 years of experience of racing, but even last year in Formula 2, a championship which they knew well, it took them half a season to fully understand and unlock the potential in the car. This, a completely different challenge for them in the NTT INDYCAR Series, but after half a season, you just feel they're starting to get it. They're starting to make strides forward. Herta still within 5 seconds of Alex Palou, but look at the almighty gap that exists back to Josef Newgarden. There he is.
Listen, full credit to Colton Herta. He's the only guy right now that's able to even hold a steady gap with Alex Palou. It's been about 5 seconds.
Nolan Siegel back on pit lane. Stingray Robb back on pit lane. Carl Kirkwood back on pit lane. That's a short stint for all three of those drivers. And look at Rasmussen fighting with his ECR car, sponsored this weekend by Liquid Science. Here at the racetrack, sponsored by their team's primary sponsor, Java House. He has been nothing short of exhilarating as Newgarden takes the decision now to jump onto pit lane from 3rd place. Kevin Lee.
This is the best starting position on the non-oval that Newgarden has had all season, and he's making the most of it, and he's going to the hard compound. He still has a set of new softs to go, so Newgarden is in play for a podium.
Guys, I am seeing way more mix-up of tires than we were expecting today. We thought everyone would just spend all of the race on the softs if they possibly could, but we are seeing soft to hard to soft, hard to soft to hard. And way more mix-up.
We are seeing Colton Herta and Alex Palou's teams ready and waiting on pit lane. So Alex Palou has had enough of living in the unknown. They want to get their next stop done and protect themselves against a caution.
Great spot out of the commentary booth, and here he comes into pit lane now. Race leader, championship leader, Alex Palou pulls the pin now, and Jack Harvey will be waiting for him.
I am Will, and as Townsend said, they want to cover against any potential yellow. They so nearly got caught out by that incident with Rinus VeeKay. The used soft is going to be going on. As always, this looks like a really clean stop for the 10. Georgia, what's happening where you are?
The 26 did 26 laps on the scuffed reds. They're going to do more of the same this time. They're going to put scuffed reds right back on, a tear off, and it looks like a part actually rolled away from the 26 car, but he's down.
Slight delay on the front right, looked like the wheel nut just fell off, but they got that back on in time. Palou comes out, that's Will Power just riding through, Felix Rosenqvist behind him. And Power now moves into the de facto lead of this race, but needs to make another stop. Herta still with about that 5-second gap to Alex Palou, so it's as you were at the front once Power takes his stop, but it is the Penske man who leads this race, the Penske man who has the pressure on his shoulders over his future in this championship. But he is doing, I gotta say, I think he's doing everything right. I think Will's driving brilliantly right now. He's been the lead Penske on so many weekends, still the talismanic leader for that team. I can't imagine a season where we would see Penske not with Will Power. That day will, of course, come, but will it be next season?
Number 12 team sits ready on pit lane. There goes Will Power, giving Alex Palou the best view in the house once again.
Palou will have the best view of the house, but he will also have his mirrors increasingly full. Herta has cut the gap back to around 4 seconds. Since the moment it was announced, everyone's had August 30th circled. The Arch Manning era kicks off with a playoff rematch for the ages as Texas takes on defending national champion Ohio State on Big Noon Saturday. What a way to get the season rolling. August 30th, only on Fox. And what an afternoon we are having at Laguna Seca. This is a phenomenal battle that is shaping up. Rasmussen made his way up into 8th moments ago. Power, Newgarden, Armstrong, McLaughlin, Rahal and Armstrong fighting tooth and nail at every corner for every position. And Marcus Armstrong impressing once again as he has done in recent races. Took the fight to Scott McLaughlin, made his way through. Took the fight to Will Power and made his way through.
Boy, Marcus Armstrong during the break was putting on a clinic, a slide job clinic in turn 2. Brilliant stuff deep on the brakes. Watch this. He's the orange and black car.
Which turn?
Turn 2.
Beautiful. Absolutely mega stuff. And Josef has that inside line. It's slightly squirrely through there, but Armstrong keeps him honest and gets the pass done.
He had just done a very similar move on McLaughlin the lap before, went long. McLaughlin got him back just as Newgarden does here, but then just watch this. Into turn 3, he times it very well, late on the brakes, and pulls off the move there. So Armstrong just scything through the Penske's. He's through McLaughlin, he's through Newgarden, now he's got Power in his sights as all 3 of the Team Penske cars were running nose to tail.
Palou, we said before the break that he led Herta. Our timing screens lied to us. It's Lundgaard, who with his strategy today has put himself in an absolutely phenomenal position in this race. Started 7th, now sits 2nd, legitimately, on strategy, ready to go, ahead of Colton Herta. A brilliant strategy from McLaren, a brilliant drive from Christian Lundgaard.
But Colton Herta, I believe, has a brand new set of sticker reds to finish this race, so that will be hard for Lundgaard to defend with. Not sure which tire Lundgaard will choose for the final run, but Colton Herta will be fast to close this out.
Now, we said that Colton Herta had a slight issue with his pit stop. It looked like the front right, there was an issue with the wheel nut hinge. Yeah, you can just see it fall out and roll under the car and roll forward, running down pit lane.
Looks strangely like a wheel nut, Georgia.
And I have the wheel nut in my hand right here. Tony Houck, he's the right front tire changer for Colton Herta. He let me borrow it. Quick thinking by him, though. As soon as he saw it roll away after it fell out of the gun, he pulled a spare from his belt just like this. So ultimately, quick thinking from Tony Houck and the team, but that's what it takes right now in the NTT INDYCAR Series to be as quick as you possibly can on pit lane. But this is the one that was rolling down pit lane from the right front of Colton Herta.
And these teams, guys, they practice that. They're prepared for that situation. You got to practice for things to go wrong, but look at this. This is the time spent on pit lane. You look at Colton Herta's there compared to Alex Palou, compared to Christian Lundgaard. Right now, he's just about a second behind him on the racetrack. 6/10 of that was lost on pit lane.
It's been told that you and Lundgaard fine.
When you know it, Alex Palou still has the most push to pass of anybody out there. Well, second most of anybody out there on track. 106 seconds for him, 124 left for Callum Ilott, who sits still in a brilliant 6th place. But of course, alongside that, they do also have the hybrid units on board the cars, the hybrid system co-developed, of course, by IndyCar, Honda and Chevrolet, launched in 2024 in mid-Ohio, which gives the drivers the ability to charge and then utilize as an extra boost around the track that hybrid energy system.
So we've been keeping track of tires, and Georgia, since you were already down at Colton Herta's pit, what does he have to close with? I think it's stickers, but I wanted to confirm.
I can confirm, and I can show you right here. Colton Herta has sticker red tires to end this race with.
Great stuff, Georgia. Thank you so much. So Award in 5th, hanging out still on the hard tire. Rasmussen on the hard, Power on the hard, but look at everybody else on those soft tire, making hay while the sun does shine here in Monterey, California. It's Palou from Lundgaard, Herta from Dixon, as Herta with that just puts a wheel off onto the gravel. O'Ward is 5th, Ilott is 6th, then it's Rasmussen 7th, Power, Armstrong and Newgarden, your top 10.
Lundgaard made up a ton of spots by pitting several laps sooner than the other cars that he was racing. That's how he got ahead of Herta. So the undercut, pitting earlier than the cars you're racing, clearly powerful right now. And it's going to be kind of a race of who's going to be the first car to pit last.
It is, but we think Colton Herta is going to have the advantage because of those sticker reds. Kevin, can you tell us what Christian Lundgaard might close out with?
He is on his last set of new softs now, so he has the harder compound black sidewalls or a used set of softs. He's also likely going to have to come in before everyone else because he was the earliest of the front runners to make a last stop on lap 45, 6 laps before Palou or Herta.
And you can tell that, Kevin, because the pace is starting to drop. Herta is starting to draw him in, and you can see it's about 1.5 to 2 car lengths now between the papaya and black number 7 of Christian Lundgaard and that Gamebridge Honda of Colton Herta. So 60 of 95. We expect the last stops to come around laps 70, 71, 72. If you can get to there, you're good to go.
And again, Lundgaard's going to have to pit on the early side of that get-home number. Colton Herta has the option of going a bit longer, but like we said, pitting earlier seemed to have worked pretty well for the 7. So even with that tire advantage that T-Bell was talking about for Herta, is the track position from pitting earlier maybe a bit more impressive.
And Colton's team will know that. And so one strategy for Colton Herta is not to press Lundgaard too closely here. Leave yourself a little bit of clean air. Don't get right up on the gearbox of Lundgaard. Help protect the tires so that when he pits, you've got fresh enough rubber to at least get a lap time in before Colton Herta comes in.
Herta gunning for Lundgaard, but Palou is in a world of his own. 7.5 seconds to the good. Saturday, Major League Baseball is taking over the iconic Bristol Motor Speedway for a must-watch, one-of-a-kind event. Catch Ronald Acuna Jr. and the Braves take on Ellie De La Cruz and the Reds in the MLB Speedway Classic. Coverage begins Saturday at 6 Eastern on Fox. Have you seen it? Inside the Speedway? Looks incredible. Absolutely amazing. And folks, listen, we thought that Lundgaard had got ahead of Herta thanks to strategy. He didn't. It was a move, and it's so good we've decided to make it the Pennzoil moment of the race.
Look at this, just huge commitment, lunging in on Colton Herta. They had contact at the exit, and that would have been a surprise for Colton Herta.
Surprise for us, didn't realize that it happened.
We haven't seen many moves pulled off there so far this race, this weekend really. It's kind of been a little bit of a quiet corner, minus some wheel drops on the exit, but really, again, all day long, Lundgaard's been super aggressive, super decisive in his moves, and it's paying off right now running in a podium position.
I love how smart Colton Herta was to not try to force the defense there, leave just enough room, because Colton Herta is going to have a chance in the last 25 laps. Lundgaard is pulling away nicely right now, but he started this stint on new Firestone soft tires. Colton Herta started this stint on used.
As Siegel and Malukas, two of the youngest drivers in this field, going wheel to wheel. Down there at 2, and Malukas gets it back, and they really are wheel to wheel. There's slight contact between the two of them as Stingray Robb now on the inside of Siegel. Any contact there? No, that's clean. And Robb gets through as well. All of that fighting over 18th, 19th, and 20th places. That's 19th for Stingray Robb.
I'm not sure how well Siegel fared at the exit of turn 3. As now Kyle Kirkwood comes up. Let's look at this from the outside. Was Siegel able to stay on track?
He was not.
4 off. And then he lost the position to Kirkwood as well.
And it was all shaped up from 11. Lucas made his way through. Siegel up on the inside.
Wheel to wheel, just getting forced all the way down to pit wall there. Malukas a little bit later on the brakes initially, but then Siegel rolling off the brakes. Too much speed. The over-under for Malukas, and he had a little bit of a hip check there on the exit.
And from making up one position, he loses 1. He loses 2. He loses 3.
Yeah, so frustrating for Siegel. Trying to execute a pass, ends up losing 2 extra positions, as now Kirkwood still trying to claw back after that mistake and that penalty. Goes on the inside, maybe, of Stingray Robb.
And yes, folks, that is Kyle Kirkwood in a car which looks insanely similar to that of Colton Herta, the JM Bullion car.
And guys, as Kyle Kirkwood runs right now, based on a tough day in California, he would drop to 4th in the championship. And old reliable Scott Dixon would move up to 3rd, and I think Dixon still might have something to say before this day is over.
Less of the old, my friend. It was his birthday in the week, 45.
I called him old reliable.
It's okay.
Not old in age. He's that reliable for that long.
Lundgaard's birthday in the week. Louis Foster's birthday today. Seems like a good week to have been born if you wanted to be an IndyCar driver. Alex Palou is, I mean, ridiculous today, let's be honest. Absolutely ridiculous. He's led 216 laps and counting over the last 4 races here. He's had 2 poles, 2 wins on his way. It looks
all
like
about the tires, man.
to a
nice
3rd.
Smooth. Take a drink.
Take
a drink and play it smooth.
Code word.
Goodness me.
Code word, take a drink. What does that mean?
Code for,
I don't know.
It means take a drink. I think it means they've got a water bottle in the car.
Just chill, man. Just chill.
Just, hey, look,
it's all yours.
It sounds silly, but sometimes when you're so focused, you're dialed in, you need those little reminders. So just, hey, take a breath, relax your grip, take a bit of a drink. It's a hot California day here.
Scott Dixon up to 4th place. And when we think about where he started, an amazing day for Scott Dixon. Jack, what can you tell us?
I think it's just turning into an absolute classic and textbook Scott Dixon kind of performance. Feels like he's taking this fuel even further than what we thought. I'm actually down in his pit box. His guys have gone over the wall, so I'm expecting him in this lap.
Yeah, 28 laps since the last pit stop for Scott Dixon. To your point, Jack, that's amazing mileage.
We'll have a good stop.
Dixon's crew getting ready for him. So 28 is about as far as he can go. We take a look at Callum Eilert in 6th as well. He's done 27 laps on a similar strategy to Scott Dixon. So if we say chapeau and hats off to Scott Dixon on this drive, we must also say the same to Callum Ilott, who started all the way down in 24th place on the grid. This could be a third consecutive best result for Prema. He is running well within the top 10 and has never really looked, let's be honest, out of place within the top 10 today, racing phenomenally for the new team.
Plus 18 on the day as Dixon dives into the pits, and you saw him just there. He's on the back of Pato O'Ward, who's got 4 laps more fuel, 4 laps newer tires. He's doing a great job as the 9 crew goes to work. Looking back now, out of O'Ward's car, you see Ilott right there. And guys, no one makes fuel in an IndyCar as well as Scott Dixon. Callum Ilott pitted 1 lap later on the last stint. He's going 1 lap longer now, so he's at least equal with the greatest at saving fuel.
That really is something. And we looked at this earlier. O'Ward was all arms and elbows trying to keep the car on the track under pressure from Callum Ilott. He's still there. He's still in his mirrors. He hasn't dropped off as he's trying to conserve fuel and make this strategy work. It's a great drive.
Most significantly right now for Alex Palou, Christian Lundgaard, and Colton Herta, Dixon has danger zoned them. Right now, if somebody gets into the wall, drops a wheel, gets into the wall, it'll be immediate full course caution, pits closed, and Alex Palou will be totally exposed on a day where everything has gone perfectly. How much does the DHL driver and team risk it? They're up in lap traffic right now. I would think they're given strong consideration to coming in right now as Colton Herta's team starts to get ready for their last stop.
And we are so close to that last stop.
We're in it. We are in it.
We're in it with a big save, though, T-Bell. That's the difference. These guys don't want to have to be hitting a huge number to make it to the end. So it is this balance of risk versus reward. And here, as the point, it's as they run.
Ilott on pit lane for his first stop, last stop, that I can see out of my window here in the commentary booth. O'Ward coming in. It's a good stop for Ilott. It's clean and he's away. That will be huge for him. We'll see where he comes out in relation to everybody else. But a good stop for Prema. Serviced and sent. And he's out on the soft tyre. Is today the day when Prema's strategy plays off for them? He's on a clear track. And he's in clean space. That's great for them.
And Pato O'Ward, I believe, will have sticker soft tires to finish as Christian Lundgaard. Big question, Kevin. What do they take for tires here?
They only have used softs or new hard compounds available. So it's the used softs. Lundgaard has completed all but 1 lap this season. Only Pato O'Ward is better, Georgia.
Was struggling on those used soft tires before, but the good news, they have a set of sticker softs that they're going to put on the 26 car. He was advocating to come in earlier. Rob told him he had to stay out, but they're going to fill it up with fuel, and this is going to take him to the end.
Lundgaard was pulling away from Herta as Pato O'Ward comes in now. Georgia.
Pato O'Ward also one of the cars that has a set of new soft tires on it. So again, they're going to fill him up with fuel, and he's down and away.
So the question now is, where is Callum Ilott? They both had stickered soft tires to get things done as Pato O'Ward passes the pit speed line and tries to get up to speed. Callum Ilott up under the bridge, and he is coming. This could be close.
This will be close. This was the battle that we'd had for the last few laps. Ilott again will have the temperature into his tires, but O'Ward, I mean, just as he has done over the last few races, it's all about that in-lap, and he's gapped him.
That was a destruction of either an in-lap or time on pit lane, James. That was not even close at all.
No, it really wasn't. I mean, again, you mentioned it. This is how he won the race in Iowa, just through epic in and out laps. And Pato O'Ward doing exactly what he needs to do to fight back.
Something must have gone wrong for Callum Ilott at some point, maybe on pit lane. But O'Ward put about 4 seconds on the transition there.
We're right on board. Thanks to Arrow. There's Rasmussen in pit lane. He's been having a good day. As McLaughlin comes in behind him. And now Palou has found traffic. He's got a lot of traffic.
This is risky.
It would make sense to dive in now. Don't see anyone from the 10 crew over pit wall setting up. So it looks like at least one more tour for the 10.
And he does stay out.
Losing track time.
That's Schwartzman and Rahal ahead of him. needs to get past them both. They don't have to get out of his way. How difficult, though, will they make life for Alex Palou? Schwarzman won't make it too difficult. Now comes the call to pit. So Lundgaard leads Herta by around 7 seconds. Will Power behind them and Marcus Armstrong. Newgarden, Dixon, Ericsson, Rossi and Rasmussen, the top 10.
Maybe we'll get an answer here on Callum Eilert on what happened. Here's the pit stop. Watch the right rear. The air jack doesn't appear to be going up right away.
Yeah, it took a while for that car to get off the ground. You saw the tire changers tugging on the tires, but with the car still weighted, they weren't going anywhere. So trouble getting the wand in the back of the car and get the car in the air.
It's about 3 seconds now, the gap between O'Ward and Eilert. And O'Ward's outlap was about a second quicker.
Little wiggle there from Alex Palou on entry. These are anxious moments. One last pit stop. And it looks like they're going to escape any dramas with an untimely yellow.
About 32 seconds, the gap over Lundgaard. More than enough time to come in and get service. Jack, this could be the race-winning pit stop.
Absolutely could be. Well, this is going to be the final one of the day for the number 10 of Alex Palou. Hits his marks perfectly like you would expect. Barry Wanzer told me pre-race, the strategy today, go as long as you can for as long as possible to shorten up this last stint.
Well, it's perfectly on time. Lap 72, exactly as predicted.
So he'll have to go 22 laps here as he crosses start-finish line at click lap 73, but he's on those used reds. So we'll have to see what the gap looks like to Lundgaard and Herta after this exchange.
Well, it's about 2 corners. So as Palou enters turn 3, Lundgaard enters and exits turn 2. The gap about 8.5 seconds. 20 laps left to run. Palou leads Lundgaard and Herta. Scott Dixon sits fourth. not many more beautiful places in the United States than here on the California coast. Home, of course, to Pebble Beach Golf Club, but it's driving of a different kind today here at Laguna Seca. Alex Palou, there he is, your race leader, as we welcome you back to the Java House Grand Prix of Monterey, live on Fox, with me, Will Buxton, with Townsend Bell, with James Hinchcliffe. Your lap leaders today. Palou, 64, Siegel leading the first 11 laps of his still very green IndyCar career. Christian Lundgaard is second, 7.8 seconds back. Colton Herta is catching him, and catching him fast in the battle for second. Scott Dixon is fourth. Pato O'Ward is fifth, but Callum Ilot's brought that gap down to 2 seconds, and behind him, Christian Rasmussen is 2 seconds adrift as well. So a nice battle shaping up for fifth, sixth, and seventh. Then it's Power, Armstrong, and Newgarden, your top 10.
This battle right here with Lundgaard and Herta, that gap continues to close at a rate of about a half a second to a second a lap. We documented earlier that Colton Herta was on fresh, soft Firestone tires. Lundgaard only had used soft tires to finish, and now we're seeing that start to pay off for Colton Herta as Lundgaard is up ahead in that Papaya McLaren and in view.
Herta, who absolutely adores this circuit. Lundgaard making his way through traffic. Herta, of course, has won here twice. He's been on the pole. His father, such an illustrious career and history at this track as well. And Callum Ilot's having a frankly brilliant day in sixth, 2 seconds behind Pato O'Ward. Actually, it's 1.5 now, and we see them on our screen.
Yeah, chasing him down, Will. And he is the biggest mover of the race right now. And as all the pit stops have kind of happened, this is a really fantastic day for Callum Ilott and the 90. Fresh off of what has been his best finish in Toronto the previous weekend. Actually seeing Zach Marcus Ericsson seems to have had a spin around somewhere.
He has, mate. Exeter 6 on the way up to the corkscrew.
That is a very strange place to be stopped. So far out of turn 6 up the hill. I wonder how this happened. High centered on that exit curve and then chased it all the way up the hill.
So lucky to not continue going driver's left and be collected by another car. That could have been much, much worse for the driver of the 28 who still stopped there. Not sure why
I don't know how we're not under caution.
Well, they're trying to get it going. These hybrid systems allow these Indy cars to restart, but being on such a fast part of the racetrack, kind of broadside for as long as he has been.
Very dangerous spot here.
It's literally
it's so easy to drop wheels in turn 6, as we've seen so many drivers. You could end up right there. This is
how is there no? I don't understand this. There's no yellow. There's a yellow out. I mean, there's a local yellow. I mean, that is literally pointing up the hill,
and it's
to
blind
a blind
as well.
crest.
Yeah,
it's blind.
This is. I don't understand this.
He's waiting for a gap to get his car rolling. The problem is there's not a gap.
Okay, that's why
we've got a lot of errors here. We're showing a lot of errors. We're trying to work through something to tell you here.
Yeah, he's not waiting. His car's not running.
Yeah,
that car is dead stick. And
this needs to go caution.
Good time for a caution.
This needed to go caution some time ago.
This is.
And there it goes.
The
full course caution has come out. Finally.
Thankfully. After Marcus Ericsson stuck in one of the most dangerous parts of the circuit. We're under caution, and we'll be back. Welcome back to the NTT INDYCAR Series from Monterey, live on Fox. The 2025 Honda Civic Type R takes the field around. Full course caution. Marcus Ericsson has got his car back up and running. But here's a replay from on board with Pato O'Ward. So yellow coming up the hill.
Local yellow there. Just to warn him that there's something. But guys, right here, look, you just can't see anything over the rise there.
That's insane. That is absolutely
nuts.
Ridiculous.
Nuts. That should have been a yellow.
Immediately. Broadside on a blind straightaway.
Immediately.
IndyCar has the data. They can see that that car isn't running. The engine's not on.
Imagine if you're Marcus Ericsson, how terrifying it is to sit there broadside. They're going 150 miles an hour right there. Let's take a look at the crew reaction. Looking at the data in the laptops, they were trying to figure out how to get Marcus Ericsson refired as the caution comes out.
Ericsson is in and being serviced. Just taking a look underneath the car for any damage potentially done. And there's some gesturing from the right-hand side of the car.
Comfortable running with the skid folded over.
Yeah, there'll be some damage probably on the bottom of that car from dragging along the curb. But if I'm Marcus, I wouldn't be surprised if that driver marches straight into the IndyCar trailer after this race is done.
I think they said that the skid plate was folded over.
We're only going to give up one spot here.
So I think the team's saying it's not worth
Marcus,
it.
I think we should really think about not being done with that skid folded back, buddy.
And that's a sad end to the day for Marcus Ericsson. This really not turning into his season, but I think everyone thankful that ultimately a very dangerous situation did not turn into something far worse. So Palou leads from Lundgaard and Herta. The field is bunched. The scene is set. 15 laps to go here at Laguna Seca. Alex Palou has looked untouchable all day. But let's be honest, Christian Lundgaard has looked pretty damn punchy as well. For the first time, Palou will have to contend with the papaya McLaren of Christian Lundgaard. Herta is third, Dixon is fourth, O'Ward is fifth, then it's Eilert, Rasmussen, Power, Armstrong and Newgarden. They're the top 10, taking us back to the green around turn 11 for another time. Palou already has a gap, already is extending as he punches the throttle. And look at Pato O'Ward all over the rear wing of Scott Dixon. Dixon having to defend, Eilert having to defend from Rasmussen. And Rasmussen, tucked up behind the Prema, can find no way through. O'Ward takes a little bit of gravel, and that will allow Eilert just a sniff of the rear wing of the McLaren as the Penske drivers fight over the last remaining places in the top 10.
I think we're starting to see the advantage for Colton Herta on tires come to the front as he's all over the back of Christian Lundgaard here, trying to make that tire advantage work. Let's just ride and listen here. Gainbridge on board tells us it's full send. He makes an adjustment on the steering wheel, James, and we'll see as Lundgaard starts to look at the back of Lundgaard car is sliding all over the place, fighting to hang on.
And even with that caution, Lundgaard did pit on the very early side of this. There's still a bit of a fuel save, I imagine, happening on the number 7. So even though these two are pretty even on push to pass, 44 for Lundgaard, 45 for Herta, I'd be surprised if Lundgaard was allowed to be quite as liberal with it as Herta is right now.
Lundgaard on the save, Dixon on the save, Eilert on the save. Everybody else has the ability to push, push, push with 13 to go at Laguna Seca.
Advantage for Colton Herta really seems to be on the brakes.
Here comes
this guy,
Ferrucci.
Santino Ferrucci out, breaks Kyle Kirkwood to go side by side.
Nice move.
Clear, clear.
Nice move from Ferrucci as Daly and Rossi do battle ahead of them, and Foster on his birthday gets the move done on Stingray Rob. Look up ahead. Herta with 31 seconds of push to pass to go. Lundgaard with 41. Palou still with 78. So this is into 11. And that's Rossi putting the move on Ferrucci. Oh, whoa, boy, which allowed Malukas through. And contact with Rossi.
And look at that, Lucas goes through. And now Kirkwood and Ferrucci side by side, no love lost between those two, and that's how Stingray was able to kind of get a little bit of a run, then checked up.
And they say yellows breed yellows, but in that case, everybody fighting hard, but we remain green with 12 to go now as we take a look back at Nolan Siegel in the NTT Data McLaren. And this a replay of Siegel. Oh, big up and in to Louis Foster. Oh, and a spin on the exit of the corkscrew.
Kept his foot buried in it. You can just see side by side, Foster not giving him quite enough racing room there, and then he just collided into the side of him. Really nothing Siegel could do.
Siegel, the throttle, rarely your friend in those cases, and it worked out for him.
When in doubt, flat out, man. Get that thing spun around, use the gravity down the hill, get pointed in the right direction, and go.
Palou has the gap up to 2 seconds over Christian Lundgaard. Lundgaard, I think, right now, focused more on the man behind than the man ahead. Wants to hang on to this second place. It would be only his first second place finish since, I think, we were at, goodness, Barber. Yeah, a long time back in the season.
Like I say, I misspoke a little bit. The 7 and the 26 actually pit on the same lap, so fuel is even between them. It's just the tire advantage.
39, Dixon has 68.
The tire advantage that Colton has right now. Dixon more on push to pass, but again, he had two laps earlier than the two cars in front.
Starting to look very hard for Christian Lundgaard. Track temp got to be up around 120 degrees right now, as all of the marine layer is burned off quite a while ago, and Laguna Seca hot enough to cook an egg.
Christian Lundgaard, who started off the season so magnificently, 3 podiums in the first 4 races for the 25-year-old from Denmark. Moved to the McLaren team this year, and for so much of the early part of the season looked to be their talisman, looked to be their leader. As a little puff of smoke was that out the back of Colton Herta's car. Lundgaard, who fell off a little bit through May and June, but in July absolutely making hay once again. And today, on a day which was supposed to be all about his teammate Pato O'Ward, starting on the front row of the grid, it is Lundgaard who has impressed as Santino Ferrucci spins and is off, and that is at the top of the hill at the corkscrew.
We saw Josef Newgarden buried here in practice. He was not able to get going.
Back under yellow.
And Ferrucci, you could see the car beach there, the rear wheels turning, just lost it on his own.
Oh boy.
The car gets very light as you come up over the crest.
Rossi was lucky.
Woo. Definitely lucky to avoid getting taken out there. But yeah, the car you crest there gets very light. Just listen.
On board with Petroactive.
Oh boy. Tough couple of weeks. Santino Ferrucci crashing out in final practice at Toronto. Didn't make the race. And Ricky Davis, crew chief for Alex Palou, says, oh, are you kidding? Another caution?
Another caution. 10 to go. The field will bunch back up. And we will go again. We are back. Santino Ferrucci has managed to get his car running again, thanks, I believe, to the AMR safety team. The 2025 Honda Civic Type R still leads the field. And when we go green, we will be back in single digits on the run to the Advanced Auto Parts checkered flag. Palou, for what must seem like the 100th time today for him, has a clear track ahead of him, and it will be at his control when we restart. We are back to green running, and once again it's a perfect run for Alex Palou. It's a little wobble for Lundgaard, but O'Ward with the run on Scott Dixon as he had at the last restart. He has again, and Dixon defends, and O'Ward now up to the inside of Scott Dixon, who runs deep, and the McLaren man will try to take the advantage of that, and so too will Callum Ilott. Ilott looks to the outside, but O'Ward gets the position and gets the job done. Now the Prema man all over the back of the 6-time champion here in the NTT INDYCAR Series. Ilott with a best career result of 5th. A 5th place that came here at Laguna Seca, now under pressure from Rasmussen. Has to defend. Rasmussen has a great advantage running up the hill. Can he take advantage? He can't for the moment.
Christian Rasmussen with a huge slide through the middle of turn 5, just hung on to it. Was trying to cross up Callum Ilott. Meanwhile, Scott Dixon there going into turn 2 made a swerve over at Pato O'Ward, and it cost him. Dixon made the swerve and then ran wide in the brake zone, allowing Pato to duck in.
A twitch from Dixon on the run down the hill. Edgy moments with 8 to go. It'll be 7 over the line here in Monterey. And Herta still hunting down Lundgaard for second. Oh, Power slow out of the final corner. That'll give Marcus Armstrong a phenomenal opportunity on the run down into turn 2. As Herta all over the rear wing of Christian Lundgaard. Has Armstrong been able to find anything for Will Power? He's on the inside of him, but nothing doing yet as McLaughlin has a look at his teammate coming through the corner. McLaughlin and Newgarden go wheel to wheel and side by side. The right-hander should be McLaughlin's for the taking, and indeed it is. Oh, and someone's had 2 wheels off, or are they completely off? Huge amount of dust kicked up.
Oh, McLaughlin gets a little bit wide in turn 5 there. Everybody really struggling to hang on to their tires except for Palou. Almost 2 seconds to the clear after just a couple laps of the restart.
This is what domination looks like. This is what perfection looks like. You know, we came into this talking about a championship challenge, about whether Pato O'Ward could take the fight to Alex Palou today, as we get a replay of Rasmussen. Always so thrilling, losing a couple of positions there though. But the one story that perhaps we forgot to mention is that Alex Palou, if he can win beginning today, every race that remains this season will set a new record in IndyCar history. The most wins in a season, 10 for AJ Foyt back in the 1960s. If Palou wins today, it will be win number 8 for the season with 3 remaining. The opportunity to make history remains for those 11 wins for Alex Palou. Guys, we've got 6 to go here. How impressed have you been with what you've seen out of Alex Palou today?
I mean, not surprised, but supremely impressed as always. On a day when everybody seemed to have an equal shot at this in terms of tire selection, strategy was pretty straightforward today. Colton Herta, the former master at Laguna Seca, just simply being outclassed today by Chip Ganassi Racing and Alex Palou. There's just nothing that can sideline their pace in used tires, on new tires, in restart situations. Every phase of this game, he's mastered it.
And for me, what's been the big standout is we've seen Palou very good on a certain set of tires. Usually it's the hards, but he's comparable to the other leaders on the softs. This weekend, especially in the race, think of that gap in qualifying, 3/10. He has just been so dominant on both sets of tires. He has been untouchable.
Let's look at fastest lap of the race. 90 laps into this thing, Alex Palou is 0.7 of a second faster than anybody else in this field over 1 lap. That's insane. And in the back of my head, all I can hear, Will, is Chip Ganassi's voice to us at the start of the season. What did he say?
Just scratching the surface.
Just scratching the surface.
He said, guys, bad news. He's going to be better this year. I'm telling you, he's going to be better. And Chip, a man of his word, Palou, absolutely a step up this season from an already supremely high level.
Looked like Pato O'Ward put 2 wheels in the gravel a couple of corners ago. We just saw that big puff of dust in the back of the shot, and we say it's the back of the shot, and it's the far distance of the shot, because Palou is extending his lead lap after lap, as he has done every lap of this contest here in Laguna Seca. No one, and I mean no one, has been able to hold a candle to him, but Herta behind in third with the battle for second with Lundgaard. Will not let him go, will not let this thing pass. The gap, 0.7 of a second, and Herta is still pushing.
I think Herta's going to have a shot here. You just get the feeling that with those used softs that Christian Lundgaard started on, it's just going to be a handful, and there it is. He just blew the apex of turn 3. Herta head down, ready to fight.
It just shows you how hard it is to follow at this racetrack and these Indy cars. So much downforce lost when you're in the dirty air of another car. Another apex. Well, they both missed the apex in turn 5.
Colton Herta's got a better excuse with the dirty air on the front wing. Lundgaard's got a good excuse too with used tires, but man, it's going to be tough for Herta to get there. But if he gets close, I think he'll go for it.
And I got to say, if Lundgaard can pull this off, hold Herta back, and take second place, that's a heck of a drive from the guy in the number 7 machine. It's been a little bit slim pickings for him on the good results. Started so strong in the season that it's kind of been through a little bit of a quiet period as his teammate Pato O'Ward has really stepped up, won a couple of races, entered the championship chat in a big way, but now Lundgaard doing such a good job just managing that gap, managing his tires, what's left of them, and not allowing Herta that opportunity.
I think Lundgaard has an incentive to get as much breathing room as he can on Colton Herta, because don't forget the pass that Lundgaard made on Herta was a lunge. I mean, stuffed it in at the last second. I'm sure Colton Herta would love to repay the favor with 2.5 to go.
With a little, it was a lunge with a little nudge.
Yeah.
A little hello on his way through. A little hello, goodbye. But what a drive. What a drive from Lundgaard today. Started 7th. Up to 2nd, rolled the dice with strategy. Beautiful stuff from him. A great drive from Scott Dixon up to 5th. A brilliant drive from Callum Ilott, starting all the way down at the back of the field. And if he holds on to that position, it will be another best ever result for the Prema team in their first season. 6th place at the moment for Callum Ilott.
This was the earlier pass from Lundgaard I was talking about. You'll see the contact just at the exit. And that's why I say if Colton Herta can get close, maybe he shoots one more time.
Been another battling drive from Marcus Armstrong in 8th. Rasmussen has been exhilarating, but sadly for him, just going over the limit a little too much and dropping down to 9th place. A better day for Penske in so much as all 3 cars remain in the race with 2 laps to go. Power, the highest of them, in 7th. McLaughlin is 10th. Newgarden is 11th. Still nowhere near the level that they would expect to be at. But they'll take what they can this season, and 3 cars still being in the race. Quite incredibly, that's a good result for Penske this year.
And once again, Will, Power, the top performer on the team.
Again, surely that has to count for something. Surely. And yet, it may not.
Colton Herta down to 8 seconds of push to pass. 7, now 6. He's trying to close that gap. He's only got 1 lap left when they cross the line. 1 last push out of the last corner to try to make it work.
This was about as close as Christian Lundgaard was when he made the pass on Herta to surprise him. Herta's been stronger on the brakes, but I just don't think he's close enough here.
1 lap to go. It will be over the line. Oh my goodness, Herta's got a good exit. He's had a great exit.
It looked like he did, and then
he kind of didn't. Yeah,
he got wide maybe on that exit curb and struggled to get the rear traction. Now he's going for the lunge.
And he's used up all of his push to pass, trying to make up for that little bubble, that little wobble on the exit of 11. Trying to hang with Lundgaard, trying to put the move in on this final lap here at Laguna Seca, where Alex Palou has looked utterly imperious from the get-go. Has tempered the storm and has ridden this race out absolutely beautifully. We came into today asking whether Pato O'Ward could mount the challenge for the championship. It is a championship which Alex Palou has led from day one, and with this kind of a performance puts one hand firmly back onto the Astor Challenge Cup. Stand back and admire him, stand up and applaud him. He has been perfect. What a performance. Utter perfection once again from Alex Palou. 8 wins in a season. Sensational. Hands off to Newgarden and Herta, who complete the podium. A brilliant drive from the McLaren man in second. Pato O'Ward couldn't get the job done when he needed to today. Finishes 4th. Scott Dixon, a brilliant drive to 5th. Eilert, sensational in 6th. A best ever result for Prema. Power is 7th. Armstrong is 8th. Rasmussen 9th. And Scott McLaughlin comes home 10th for Penske. Well, it's 3 wins in the last 4 races here at Laguna Seca for Alex Palou. And here we go. This is history. 10 wins in the season for Foyt. Unser 10 wins in 70, Andretti 9. Palou now has 8. And guys, if he wins the remaining races of this season, not only would he set a new record of 11, but how many race wins did he have coming into this season for his entire IndyCar career? 11. He stands to match in one season every victory he had ever amassed on his way to his first 3 titles in one single year, and all before he started his 100th IndyCar race. That is the level of this man.
You're out of words to describe it. You know, I mean, it's hard to explain. It's hard to describe what we're witnessing here. It truly is, you know, sports history being written right in front of our eyes.
And you get overwhelmed with the stats and the achievements, and then once you mention 28 years old, it just kicks things over the top. This guy has another 20 seasons if he wants of excellence. He could be doing this for a very long time and notch up records we've never seen.
And there's something wonderful about this guy, which is that he doesn't seem to have changed. I remember meeting him in junior formulas in Europe, and you know, yeah, he's a father now, he's a husband now, he is a multiple champion and stands on the precipice of being rightfully crowned one of the greatest of all time, and yet that smile is the same, his humility is the same, his humor and his warmth have not changed one bit. And it's wonderful to see, because you like good things to happen to good people.
And it doesn't come alone. You know, we talk about the number 10 team, Barry Wanzer, the strategist, Ricky Davis, that entire crew has such tremendous chemistry. You see it on every pit stop. You see it in the highs. You see it in the lows. There haven't been very many lows, but when there are, these guys just contain the emotion, stay laser focused.
And look at what it means to the team. And they are a team, as they take one more step towards history and immortality. It's 8 wins for the season. Chip Ganassi loves his winners. And boy, what lies under the surface that we are yet to scratch. Well, redemption for Spain. Not a penalty in sight.
8 wins on the season for Alex Palou. The reactions just as good every single time. How do you perfect perfection like you have done?
I don't know. Honestly, what an amazing job by everybody at CGR, at Honda, DHL for giving us everything we needed to be as fast as we were. It's been an awesome weekend, awesome year overall. But yeah, today was something else. It was super fun to be here. One of my favorite tracks for sure. Couldn't be happier right now.
How were you able to re-strategize under those late yellows?
Yeah, I mean, it was not easy. Like, we had to push. We had to try and be ready for those yellows. We knew that we were not on the best conditions on tires, especially the 26. I was waiting for him to come back at the end, but yeah, luckily we had enough pace to open a small gap and get the win.
And we will let you celebrate, rightfully so. Alex Palou, 8th win on the season.
8 wins, 3 more opportunities for Alex Palou to make history. Our very own resident Rocket Man. Well, the Advanced Auto Parts checkered flag moment. Alex Palou, Palocho, perhaps his 8th win of the season. It used to be the Palou Show, now it's Palocho. Corny, sorry, I apologize. Kevin Lee standing by with who I'm sure will be an incredibly happy 2nd place finisher, Christian Lundgaard. Chapeau.
Christian Lundgaard is the best in class behind Alex Palou. 5th podium of the season and a great battle with Colton Herta. How'd you get by him and hold him off?
Yeah, I obviously knew that the pit sequences are really key around here, and we went into this race not knowing if it was going to be a red race or a prime race, so it ended up being a red race, and I just can't thank this team enough. Apparently this is the most podiums we've had in a year, so I'm very proud of the number 7 Wheeler Aero McLaren Chevrolet team.
As a team, 11 podiums this year, all across the board for Aero McLaren, and Christian Lundgaard finishes 2nd.
Colton Herta, Laguna Seca in your family name just seems to mean success. How was it out there today?
It was good. I'm so happy whenever we get to come back here. This place it's been great to me, been great to my family, and it's a real treat. It's a real driver's track to come out here, especially in an IndyCar. You know what it's like to get everything out of it. It's difficult. So always happy to be on the podium here. The Cambridge Honda was super fast, and we'll carry this momentum into Portland in 2 weeks.
Congratulations, buddy.
All about the momentum now. Great crowd on hand for the podium ceremony. 3 races to go, guys. I can't believe we're saying that. It has absolutely rocketed by this season. Another win for Alex Palou. A brilliant drive. Lundgaard and Herta deservedly on the podium. O'Ward couldn't quite get done what he needed to, but Dixon coming home in 5th. Impressive again from Eilert, and Power up there in the top 10 with Armstrong, Rasmussen and McLaughlin.
Yeah, tough day again for Josef Newgarden, 11th. I mean, better than the last few races, but nothing like what the Team Penske champion is used to over the course of a season, and more stories all the way back. Some issues, James, for several drivers.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Robert Schwartzman in a tight battle for Rookie of the Year with Louis Foster. Lost a few points here this weekend, but as we see up front when we talk points, it is still all Palou.
He can't wrap the title up at the next round, but my word, he has taken a big step towards it. Dixon and Kirkwood flip positions. Armstrong drops down a couple of places, and Herta leaps ahead of him. Those the real changes there in the top 10. Maluka stays 10th, Power stays 9th. Boys, it has been another brilliant display from Alex Palou. Your final thoughts on a day under the Californian sun here in Monterey?
Well, we're celebrating excellence. As Colton Herta said, it's a pleasure to come to this racetrack, a driver's track, a technique test for everybody. And if you come on top on this podium, you should be happy, because this place can challenge you in so many ways across the full stint of the tire, James, and these 3 on the podium deserved it today. They were simply the best.
They absolutely were, but you said it earlier as well, Townsend. This is not a one-man show. This is a team sport. That number 10 squad, Chip Ganassi Racing, do such an incredible job. The cohesion in that group is exceptional, and same with Scott Dixon, from 19th on the grid up to 5th. That team is performing at an incredibly high level. This driver and Alex Palou performing at an unbelievably high level, and the combination is just absolutely devastating for the competition.
Devastating, you say. 3 opportunities remain for the other 26 drivers in the NTT INDYCAR Series to swing back, to punch back and get a victory than the rest of this season. But for Alex Palou, it's 3 more opportunities to go for 11, to go for history.
I wouldn't put it past him. He's already won on a short oval this year. There's 2 to finish the season. There's the owner of Java House and Splenda, Ted Gelov, to present the winner's trophy. And James and I have been spotting what appears to be a jumbo espresso martini just off stage. The young lady holding the large glass, I think to the right of Colton Herta. I wonder if that might be a big swig from the winner.
If not, I know we'll find both of you after the race.
She's disappeared all of a sudden, James, from the stage.
Bringing it up here.
Well, look, we know Java House has pre-mixed espresso martini mix. Just add the good stuff and you got yourself a little drink there. So that might have to be the order of the afternoon, gentlemen.
But first, champagne. A taste which is becoming all too regular for Alex Palou. Coming into 2025, he had amassed 11 wins in his career. So far, he is absolutely heading in the direction of achieving that many wins in a single season. It's 8 for the year for Alex Palou. One hand on the title. What an astonishing drive. At 7 p.m., it is Gordon Ramsay's Secret Service, followed by a full night of comedy in our next IndyCar race, the NTT INDYCAR Series Grand Prix of Portland, August 10th, only on Fox. We will see you there.